Whoops. Okay, hang on.
Mom, who brought my phone for me?
Hold on.
Hey, Mom, your mommy did? Nana did?
Yeah. Hold on, sorry.
Your mommy? Hey, Mom, your mommy? Your mommy.
Yes. I'm trying to figure this out. Bear with me for a second.
What, Mom? What?
I'm trying to fill this out, Owie.
Okay.
Does anyone else get anxiety with technology? Because it gives me massive anxiety.
Mom, what are you talking?
Who am I talking? I know it seems like I'm not talking to anyone. I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to people. Hang on.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you too. Sorry guys. It's just gonna take me a second while I figure this out. See, I knew I'd mess this up, you guys. All right, hang on. I'm trying to... Again, you guys, this is just not... Technology is not my thing. Yes, I'm trying to pin the caption. How do I do that? Thank you, Gianna. It's so true, you guys. I do suck at digital, but okay. So instead of pinning it, I'm just gonna go right into it because I don't need to waste your time. Okay, so I'm just gonna go for it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Genevieve Padalecki. I have the handle Now and Jen, G-E-N. I'm going to be talking about working from home as a mom. I'm
Odette.
And this is my daughter, Odette, who is coming to be my helper.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to tell you a little bit about myself first. I am an actress, and I started out acting, and I met my husband, Jared.
I'm a daughter.
You're a daughter. You're my daughter.
Yes.
And I started acting, and then once
You're my mommy.
I am.
That's my dad is my daddy.
He's your daddy.
Yeah.
And
say hi.
And so anyway, I started having kids, and once we started having kids, I put my acting career on hold, and then once I had my daughter, I needed to find a creative outlet, so I started blogging and just sort of decided, let's just be creative and see what sticks, and so I run this blog called Now and Jen, and it's
What's
things
your
I
dad's
curate.
name?
Your dad's name?
Your dad.
My dad?
Uh-huh.
What's your dad's name?
Jerry?
That's right. And so now I run this blog, and it's different curations, tips, things I find inspiring, things that have helped me, things that are inspirational, and kind of all over the map, but just the perspective of being a mom and traveler. And what are you doing, Pumpkin?
Oh, that's my
So
sweater.
with that being said, I'm going to get right into the questions, because a lot of this has to do with being a working mom, having kids, and finding that balance. And as you can see, I'm doing my best to navigate it, but it's actually, it's a new normal. So I am gonna jump in here with some questions that were asked, which are also, they're all really good questions. And should we answer some questions? Okay. So, kids demand around-the-clock attention, and parenting while juggling conference calls, never-ending emails, and tight deadlines are no joke. How are you managing it, kids? How are you managing kids and keeping up with your workload? Any advice you can share would be greatly appreciated. Well, as you can see, you kind of have to manage it all together, but in order to keep things organized for me, what I've done is we've created a schedule for the house. So we've created a schedule for the household, and I feel like once I was able to sort of manage the house and the kids and get their schedules going, then I was able to create my own schedule. So I'll show you an example of, and this, I mean, not everyone has kids. This is just what we did because I had to sort of triage and figure out the kids situation first. So we created this schedule for the kids to create a someone's not being very nice. But we've created a schedule for our family and for the kids so that they are in so they feel like they know what to look forward to every day and what they're up against, and creating a normal for them. And down to the snacks that they eat, so it's not just a free-for-all, because the first week was a little bit of a free-for-all, and so we found that creating like a strict schedule was really helpful. And then I had to find some time, and my husband, who also is managing work from home, to find my work balance. So for me, I've found that the best way is to manage my work into segments. So I do 2 hours in the morning and then 2 hours in the afternoon, and that way I can be present when the kids have their work and when they have to Zoom with their teachers and stuff like that. So yeah. And that's kind of going into the next question, which my days are completely out of schedule now. What advice can you share for setting boundaries? Do you create office hours? So again, yeah, I do find that it's easier for me in my life to create a certain set schedule for me. So I, again, have 2 hours that I designate towards certain verticals for me and my brands in the morning, and then 2 later in the afternoon. Sorry, my daughter keeps teetering around this light that I have. I'm scared it's gonna knock over, you silly.
Is this yours?
Yeah, but you gotta be really careful, because if
Can I have this for my birthday?
Can you have it? You can borrow it.
For my birthday.
Yeah. We got another year to go, though.
Can I have this for my birthday? Let it go for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Can I have a birthday for my birthday?
So yes, I do think creating office hours is important, and to carve that time for yourself. And although I do have carved time right now, and clearly my daughter's in here, this is normally her nap time, which we were planning on, but she was kind of making a little bit of a ruckus, so I thought we'd incorporate it, and then you can all see what life is like. Okay, so how are you keeping the kids busy, distracted while you work? Again, it's tough. I mean, that's just the truth of it. The boys are 8 and 6. I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old boy, and they're pretty good. They're pretty self-sufficient. So what we've done with them is we've created a checklist which makes them feel like they are empowered and in charge of their day. So we gave them a checklist of things to do, and on that checklist are different work activities for school. So they'll have to read, or they'll have to do some math homework, and sorry, I'm just seeing some of these comments. Anyways, so we'll have that checklist, and then even on that checklist we'll have things like feed the dog or take out the garbage, and now they're doing laundry and those sort of things. And then for every check that they get, they earn some screen time. So it's a nice balance, and we don't do a lot of screen time in the house, and so having that to look forward to at the end of the day is motivating them. So I would suggest doing some sort of reward system, which I feel like helps them keep motivated and excited. And then as for our 3-year-old, it's obviously really challenging. She's really curious. She wants to know what her mother's doing. What do you do to keep busy, Owie?
Eating my cookie.
I'm distracting her with a cookie, so you know, rules go out the window. And I don't know how to sorry. So yeah, she's a little bit more challenging, and it just means more hands on deck. So my husband and I are we'll schedule different times.
Yep, your dad's name too.
Mm-hmm.
What's your dad's name?
Michael. What's your dad's name?
Daddy?
Yeah, it's
We
it's
have a
challenging.
daddy.
And so I don't get as much work as I'd like to with having a 3-year-old in the room, and I think that's the biggest thing is you just have to be
I'm
forgiving.
3-year-old.
I know, I'm talking about you.
And me.
So you have to be forgiving with yourself.
Daughter. I am a daughter.
You are. And unfortunately, it does mean sometimes that she gets more screen time, more cookies than we normally give her, that kind of thing. My dining room table office isn't exactly the most productive space, but my house is small. How do you separate mentally from the rest of the house now that everyone is home and working from home? Have you set up an office? Where is it, and how do you divide the space so you can be productive? Well, this is our library, and we have a chair over here and this bench here, and so I've created this to be my office, and I have a lap desk that my husband bought me for Christmas. And I use that to type on often. But I do think that it is really important.
You have an owie on your hand.
I know, I scratched it. But I do think it's important to designate a certain space.
We don't need a Band-Aid.
No, it's okay.
I don't need a Band-Aid.
But I think it's important to create a separate space.
Yeah.
And sometimes kids invade that space, and that's totally fine. And but I do think it's important so that when you walk into this room, it's for work, and when you leave, you can leave the work behind. That was something that's been challenging for me in general because I do work from home and blog from home. So to create that space, I found was really important because otherwise I was still in my work mind leaving, and I would be with the kids, and I'm thinking, you know, it's like your feet are in two different. You're balancing between the two, and it can be really challenging. Inevitably, internet keeps being funky. Inevitably, kids will be kids and sometimes interrupt important work calls or Zoom meetings. How do you handle that, and what can I do? Well, you know, here's a clear example. You just gotta roll with it, and I think that people with everything going on need to be forgiving and need to roll with it. So, you know, this is a new normal, and it's not realistic to quarantine your kids to one room while you work in another, especially if you have young children. So you have to just be forgiving and find that balance and that sweet spot. But if they interrupt, they interrupt, and you just have to kind of, I think, set an example for them. They're watching you as you work and conduct yourself, and you know, maybe this is a lesson for them too, so you can lead by example. I feel stressed out right now. How do you make time for self-care when there's so much going on? What are some of your self-care rituals that are helping to ease anxiety? You know, I feel stressed. I don't know if you guys can feel it, but I definitely get a little anxious sometimes when I do these videos. So for me, what I find really helpful is to ground myself and take a deep breath and really breathe and try and connect with the earth, as weird as that sounds, but just really breathe deep and just feel as connected as you can. Are you meditating? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find that by resetting my breath, I'm able to reset my nerves. I also find meditation incredibly helpful, and there are lots of wonderful apps out there that you can use. The Wave app is great. Headspace is great. There's a couple others that are escaping me at the moment, but they are, sorry, one second. They're very helpful and can walk you through that meditation, so sorry guys. And supplements that I recommend. Yes, and I saw that question, so I am going to show some of the supplements that I use that I find are really helpful. One of those is this Highline CBD.
Yeah, I got my teacher.
That I think are really great. I also am a big fan of Dr. Gundry and healing your gut. So the probiotics are really important because you really want to make sure that you have a really, really healthy gut. And what else do I use? I also use this for Sigmatic. It has reishi in it, which is calming. And magnesium, which is really, really good. Very calming as well. And then I also have an immune tincture that my girlfriend made me, who is in Seattle, Jasmine Bay. She's a fantastic acupuncturist, and she's made a tincture from honey, elderberries, astragalus, echinacea, reishi, mint, and alcohol, and that is also really wonderful. So that's been really helpful. And what are 3 things you recommend everyone does each morning to start the day off on the right foot? 3 things that I recommend are: 1,
that I recognize.
Exercise. That's been really great for me to get my body moving first thing in the morning. Both Jared and I have been getting up pretty early, like around 5 o'clock, so that we're working out before the kids get up. We'll usually take turns, so he'll get up at 5 and work out, and then I'll get up at like 6 so that someone's paying attention if anyone's waking up. And then I also find breathing and recentering yourself, and also positive mantras. I think the more that you can say positive things about yourself and about what you're feeling, what you're visualizing in a positive light, I really think that sets the tone for your day and can be really helpful. And then if you could repeat that throughout the day, whatever that may be, I find that that can be also incredibly helpful. And then this last question, how do I deal with the guilt of working at home right now and not being able to spend time with my children? I think it's hard for them to understand because home is usually home, but now it's work and they're not used to seeing me like this. I mean, I totally relate to this because, you know, the frustrations that you're feeling in one, you know, realm, like at work, and then bringing that to the kids and they're seeing you with a different hat on can be really, really difficult. And so, you know, I think you just have to be really forgiving. And I think honesty is the best policy with kids. I know it's tough, probably for the 3 and below, but we're just really honest about what we're doing. Like, I'm sorry, I'm really frustrated. I'm sorry, I need, you know, and you know, really speak to them so that they understand, like, mom needs a timeout right now, or mom needs to take 10 minutes and do some work, and I need the space for quiet, and just really be honest and you know, really truthful with them. And I think that you'll start seeing the respect and the language used in their workload with school. I find that with my kids. So yeah, those are the questions, and I don't know if that was helpful. Another thing that I did want to share just really quickly that has been helpful for me is I kind of created these 3 things. I don't know if you can see it. But create a designated space, set a schedule for your household or for yourself, and honestly be really forgiving. Also, really quickly too, one thing that has been really helpful when you do need a reset is nature. I know nature is something that I talk about a lot. I really find peace and calm in nature, and I find that I get the most creative when I am outside and I'm in nature. Obviously right now there's not a lot that we can do, and we can't really go, and not all of us can be in nature. And I know that a lot of people were inspired to do that, but they weren't really able to because, you know, there's an influx in parks and there's obviously a virus going around. So one of the things that we do as a family is we go and look at all these nature camps. We've been a big fan of explore.org for a really long time. And I actually did a post about it today with the Sierra Club, actually, who's also a great inspiration to finding things in nature. So yeah, if you go to Now and Jen, I did do some resources that you can find. I'm blanking. Some great nature cams that are wonderful that will take you out of whatever you're going through right now, and can see, it's a balance, and will take you out of whatever your headspace is. And I just really feel like nature is one of those things that just can kind of like,
I want some of this water.
you know, be inspiring and calming. So yeah. Wow, some of you are really angry. And some of you are pretty awesome. Grounding is amazing. Yeah, I love grounding. Yeah, I definitely think a walk outside is considered nature. It doesn't matter where you are. I think outside is outside, and even opening a window is like perfect.
Mom, some sparkling water.
Any advice for young girls? To always own your voice and not be afraid to use it.
Okay.
Can you say excuse me?
Can you open this? Excuse me?
Yeah. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry I'm a bit scatterbrained, but I thought it was important for me to share this with you because this is how I am conducting my days and I don't feel like I am completely present. Yes, sorry. And I think it's good to show how, like, this is what our normal is, and to be forgiving with yourself, because you can't expect yourself to perform your work the way that you would when you are at work. This is a crazy time, and you have to be really forgiving with yourself, and, you know that we're all going through it, and we're all going to get through it. So anyways, I so appreciate it, and thank you for joining, and thanks for all the comments and stuff. I really appreciate it. Oh, I love all of it. Sasha, I totally feel you. It's so hard. But yeah, again, schedule is like it's so hard. I'm terrible with schedules myself, but really creating one that you stick to is really important. Yeah, and it'll help create some normalcy. But yeah, again, thank you so much, and I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I love you back, and thank you, and hopefully we can do this again. All right,
Goodbye.
let's see if I can figure this out.